I want to share another reason why the DBC conference in Milwaukee really rocked for me. It was phenomenal. I already gave you two reasons. The third reason relates to parents. I had an opportunity to talk with two hearing parents separately. They're both moms and they're members of the agbell Association. So DBC has set up across from the agbell convention. If it hadn't, I would have never met them. They would have never seen signing adults. So really, it was a huge advantage that we would both see each other as a result of DBC being there. The first mother was a little resistant to DBC. She felt DBC didn't have the right information about the agbell Association, and I saw her concern, and I approached her and I asked if she wanted to talk or had any questions. She said, I don't know any sign. Fortunately, David Reynolds, a core member of DBC, came over and he talked and signed to her and he said, well, can we help you in any way? Can we give you some clarification? And she said, well, what the DBC is saying to the newspaper is not true. And we said, well, what's not true? And she said, they said that agbell doesn't encourage signing, that they're against signing. Really, what they had been saying was that the agbell Association doesn't give the full information for parents to make informed choices. They promote speaking and listening and don't talk about bilingualism at all, or a bilingual approach. That's what DBC was talking about, bilingualism. They acknowledge that the ability to speak and hear is fine, but that bilingualism is really important for children. At that time, two members of the DBC were being interviewed by a newspaper, and she had seen the interpreter speaking, came over and was listening in and felt it wasn't accurate information. So David Reynolds and I went over and talked to her and asked for, she wanted any clarification. At first she was very hesitant because we were signing, but David started talking and signing and explained our position. He said that it's great that the DBC is that agbell is accepting of sign language. We just believe that it's important to have two languages in your life as a deaf person. And she said, no, that's not necessarily true. My son, who's 15, has cochlear implants and he can speak very well. So what for should he learn sign language? And David was explaining about being visual people and getting your information through the visual channel, and he was explaining that. And she said, no, he doesn't want to learn that. I don't want my son to learn that. So David was explaining about making informed choices. And she said, no. And we said, well, why do you think learning another language would be bad for your son? She said, well, I don't want him to need an interpreter when he goes to a restaurant. Whoa, do you think that we need an interpreter when we go to a restaurant? David was speaking for himself, and I can speak. I showed her that I could talk. Many people at the rally could speak. Some can, some don't want to. But they don't need an interpreter when they go to the restaurant. No way. They can communicate for themselves. They can make themselves understood. They could do just fine. Well, here this mother had this image that if you didn't use spoken language, you would be completely dependent on an interpreter 100%. That is not true. That's their myth. I myself had some myths about agbell Association. I thought they were completely against sign language for children, and some of the parents told me no. They had never been told they were forbidden to sign with their children. Some did share that some audiologists, speech pathologists, agbell reps that don't sign. It's a bad idea. It will make your child dependent on sign language. Some people did experience that within the system, but others experienced that agbell was okay about signing, just emphasized speaking and hearing that was important. So when this mother saw that deaf people couldn't be successful and they need an interpreter for a restaurant, she had no exposure to deaf adults who were signing and very, very successful, showing that they could live a bilingual and successful life was important to me. So it was a good discussion, and David Reynolds was really good about it. He was watching her and interpreting for me, and he explained his background, that he had come from a deaf family, that he grew up speaking, and he new sign language he gave his deaf children 2 languages, English and ASL, and why it was so important. It was a really nice dialogue with that mom, even though she was initially resistant. We talked to her about knowing other languages, and one thing that really hit me is that often people, parents or the system or programs or ideologists or different agbell associations look at sign language as a thing for disabled people. They have a hard time seeing it as a language in and of itself. They feel, oh, geez, if you learn sign language, you're like labeling yourself handicapped. Wow. Yeah, you had to use an interpreter to go to the restaurant. Oh my gosh. The second mom, this happened around the same time as the other mother, and I went back and was watching the interview with a newspaper reporter between Dee and Barb, and they were asking questions and answering them, and I saw the interpreter. I noticed one woman had a red tag with a badge, and she was from the agbell Association, so I approached her. I said, do you have any questions? And she said, yeah, I have some questions. She was really sweet. We got an interpreter, and she said, I heard them say that they're not against cochlear implants. This is not a protest against cochlear implants. No, DBC is about language, bilingualism. It's important to have 2 languages, a visual language to acquire information and to internalize language development and all the benefits of being bilingual. She explained she had a 5-year-old daughter who had bilateral cochlear implants, and she was very successful. She was like a poster child. She had been in the newspaper, there were articles about her and different things. The media gave her a lot of attention on her daughter. She was very successful. Now, with the cochlear implant, she had like a mild hearing loss. So she was asking, why do you feel sign language would be important? My daughter already has spoken language. She can already hear. She does a lot of training and investment in developing her spoken and listening skills. If we added sign language, that would be way too much for my daughter. So she explained her point of view and her daughter. And she explained that her daughter at the age of 5 was reading at a 10-year-old level. A 5-year-old reading like a 10-year-old. Wow, that's very exceptional. That's not related to cochlear implants. That's her IQ and her parental involvement. She's really an exception. Most hearing children who can hear and speak don't read like a 10-year-old at the age of 5. I doubt she'd have any problem picking up sign language. If you want, you could put in a videotape in the library showing sign language and see if your daughter was attracted to it. It means she already has a visual acuity.